in mind? I mean, you are famous for saying that everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. What are you anticipating when you
I
punch this
play
young man
him,
in the mouth?
play him running around, and I have to catch him and slaughter him.
Mike Tyson just issued a warning to Jake Paul that he'll slaughter the problem child, Jake Paul, on November 15th. There are two names on everyone's mouth, Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, as the two are set to clash in just a couple of weeks. Mike Tyson remarks that Jake Paul is a good little fighter. He notes that despite his skill and determination, with only 10 fights to his name, Paul is still considered an amateur in the boxing world, a novice boxer.
What do you make of Jake Paul as a boxer?
He's a good little fighter, but he only has 10 fights.
You,
That's
you're
that's considered an amateur in our field.
a novice boxer, absolutely. And
When asked about his feelings toward Jake Paul, Mike Tyson explained that it's not about fear. He points out that stepping into the ring means facing challenges. He emphasizes that anyone who enters the ring has a problem to deal with and suggests that if someone doesn't want that problem, they should avoid stepping into the ring altogether.
do you fear for him with this? Because you're former undisputed champion. You're Iron Mike Tyson. You know how to throw a punch. You know how to defend yourself. You've just, like you've said, he's an amateur, a novice boxer. Do you fear for him on November the 15th?
Oh no, because he stepped into the ring. If my mother stepped into the ring, she has a problem with me. Whoever's in that ring, they have a problem. Don't go in the ring if you don't want that problem.
Tyson shares that he had an issue with alcohol addiction and was eating poorly, but he's ready to rock and roll come November 15th. He expresses gratitude for his progress, highlighting his improved health and renewed determination.
This fight's obviously been rescheduled from July. I want to ask you obviously about the health. Are those issues, are they completely gone? Have you sorted everything out with that?
Everything sorted out. I had a ulcer problem. I was eating bad food.
And everything's ready to rock and roll come November the 15th.
Thank God. Thank God.
Now, obviously,
Mike Tyson notes that Jake Paul sometimes believes his own lies, suggesting that in big fights, a fighter might need to become delusional and see themselves as someone they're not. He adds that he believes Paul is in a lot of trouble, offering a warning about the challenges ahead.
do you think Jake Paul's taking you serious? The way that he's talking about this fight?
Hey, listen, Jake believes his own lies sometimes. I guess when you're in a big fight, you have to become delusional and believe you're somebody that you're actually not. But he's in a lot of trouble, I believe.
On the other end, Jake Paul emphasizes that his motivation for fighting has changed significantly. Initially, he fought for respect, excitement, or personal grudges, but now he is focused on becoming a world champion. Having achieved financial success, recognition, and accolades like Knockout of the Year, he aims to inspire young people by showing them what is possible when they fully commit to their goals.
Towards fighting in general, my motivation and inspiration and all that has changed. It's the ebbs and flow. For certain reasons, I would fight in the beginning of my career, like respect, or just because someone was talking shit, or, I was excited to make a bunch of money fighting, or I really hated someone. Now, it's just completely different. Now I'm just on a path to world champion. I've made the money, I've knocked out, I've earned the respect, I've been on the covers of magazines, I've created records in history and won Knockout of the Year. So now it's more for me and to prove to young kids what is possible when you really set your mind to something. And that's more so what I'm focused on. So
Jake Paul finds Mike Tyson hard to read, noting he's a man of few words with much going on inside. He believes Tyson will unleash his warrior spirit on fight night. Paul admires Tyson as an icon and a legend who inspires him, but insists, with respect, that he cannot be beaten, framing it as a passing of the torch.
yeah, Mike's hard to read. He's a man of few words. A lot's going on the inside, but he doesn't always say what he's thinking. And it's hard to tell. But I know that come fight night, it's going to be the old Mike Tyson, the warrior Mike Tyson, getting back to doing what he does best, which is annihilate people. When you've done that for so long, it's going to be second nature for him when the bell rings in the Dallas. Mike, I love you, man. And boxing thanks you for all you've brought to the sport. You're an icon, you're a legend. I look up to you, I'm inspired by you, and I know you're gonna bring an amazing fight. and put it all on the line. But no matter what you do, you can't beat me. It's a passing of the torch, and with the utmost respect, I'm gonna fuck you up.
Coach Larry Wade explained that the last couple of months have been challenging for Jake. He went from preparing for a major fight against Mike Tyson to considering not fighting at all, only to learn he would be facing Mike Perry instead. This required adjustments in training, as they had to shift from Tyson's 2-minute rounds to Perry's 3-minute rounds, demanding different conditioning and weight management.
The last couple of months for Jake has been very challenging. I mean, you go from thinking you're about to fight one of the biggest fights in the world with Mike Tyson, to decide that maybe you're not fighting at all, and then kind of relax a little bit just to find out, boom, a week later you're gonna be fighting Mike Perry, right? Two different styles of fighters, two different styles of training. One in which Mike Tyson's fighting 2-minute rounds, well, Mike Perry's fighting 3-minute rounds, which is a different type of conditioning. He had to go back, lock in, and get some stuff done, on top of the fact that we had to drop a lot of weight to get there. Definitely took a team effort.
Wade emphasized that preparing for this fight has involved a significant team effort, with Jake making considerable sacrifices while launching his new brand, W. After taking a month off for recovery, they are now back in training, and Jake is lighter than before, ensuring he is ready for the challenge ahead.
People don't realize how much is sacrificed in the camp, and Jake sacrificed a lot to get ready for the last fight, on top of releasing the new brand, W. And so he needed a break, and so we took a month off. Got right back in there, and now we're getting ready for Mike, and we're not as heavy as we were before, which is a plus for us. I didn't want us to go back up, but you can guarantee he's gonna be ready to fight night.
Wade remarked that in the past 6 weeks, Jake has been refining his skills and evolving into the gladiator he needs to be for fight night. By the end of his training camp, he will be fully prepared, embracing the mindset required to face his opponent and ready for the challenges ahead.
I think in the last 6 weeks, you've seen Jake slowly tighten himself up and get himself prepared, and he's really locked in now. So what we've been able to see is Jake evolve into the gladiator. He's slowly evolving into the gladiator that he has become for fight night. About time he finishes his camp and goes through everything he needs to go through, by that night he'll be fully prepared. His outer shell that he needs to be able to go in there and be the gladiator for the night, he'll have that ready, and that's what you see happening now. That's the process in which we're in now.
Wade finally stated that initially, Mike was excited for the fight, but after witnessing Jake's performance against Mike Perry, he realized he couldn't take Jake lightly. With the long absence from the ring, Mike now understands the seriousness of the situation. Wade finally concluded that with this newfound focus, Mike is ready for the fight, and they expect him to be fully prepared for the challenge ahead.
Initially, Mike was excited for the fight, but you know, it's been a long time since Mike's been in the ring, and he had a chance to see what Jake did to Mike Perry. I think he understood that he could not play with Jake. He had to really take Jake serious. So I think that now he's focused. He understands what can happen in that ring. He's seen it, and he's ready for this fight. And we expect him to be. We don't want him not to.
Strong opposition to the upcoming fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, scheduled for November, has been voiced by Eddie Hearn, a leading figure in boxing promotion. In a recent interview with Michael Benson, it was stated by Hearn that he will not be present to watch the match, as the much-anticipated rematch between Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano will be promoted by him on the same day.
You're asking the wrong guy. I'm a hardcore boxing fan. He's one of my heroes. I find it very sad. But it's a big event. I understand people are going to watch it, and it's entertainment, I guess. But for someone that idolised the guy growing up, yeah, not the best day. He's 58 years old.
I think it's very dangerous for someone of 58 years old to be fighting. I mean, the reality is that Mike Tyson was a shot fighter when he left the sport, and that was what, 20 years ago. What do you think? He's improved. He's no. I mean, you're gonna deteriorate so bad over that period. But if you go back and watch his last few fights, he was done, gone.
You've got this fight coming up, Mike Tyson against Jake Paul. What do you feel about that?
Just when you think that we live in a crazy world, don't we? Where that younger generation is built off views, built off narrative, built off controversy, and as a hardcore fight fan, someone that's been around boxing since I was 9 years old, I find it disgusting that a 58-year-old man who was my hero growing up, firstly has to even get back in the ring. You know, to get in the ring with a 25-year-old guy. You know, speaking to the Netflix guys the other day, I don't think they like my criticism of the event. I'm never gonna lie to you. I'm never gonna sugarcoat it. I'm just gonna give you my honest opinion, which is it will sell, people will watch, it will be a big event, and I don't like it.
Hearn was frank in expressing his concerns. He criticized the return of a legendary figure like Tyson after 20 years, a time when many felt he should have retired. At 58, Hearn argued that it's risky for Tyson to compete, especially against a 27-year-old like Paul. He emphasized that this matchup reflects a lack of respect for both the sport and Tyson's health.
Mike Tyson's one of my favourite fighters of all time, but it's a big event, But I find it quite sad that someone that's achieved as much as Mike Tyson is fighting at, what's he, 58, 50, something like that, and could lose to Jake Paul, but money.
Trainer Tim Welch acknowledged both Mike Tyson and Jake Paul for taking this fight. He described Tyson as one of the scariest individuals and expressed doubts that the 57-year-old would be the same ferocious fighter he once was. Welch predicted that Jake Paul would be able to maintain his distance, speed, and pacing to secure a decision victory, rather than a knockout, citing Tyson's size as a factor. He emphasized the importance of Mike's health, expressing concern about the risks associated with age and heart issues. Despite this, he conveyed excitement for the fight and encouraged others to share in that enthusiasm.
So Mike Tyson. Props to Jake Paul, too, for taking this fight against Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is a scary human being, one of the scariest human beings you'll ever see. I don't think he's going to be that same ferocious dog that he used to be. Obviously, 57 years old, I think Jake Paul's going to stay tight enough and be long enough and be quick enough and be able to pace himself long enough to get the job done by decision. I don't think Jake's going to knock him out. His head's too big, his neck's too big. I mean, I don't want to say never, but I just don't think he is. I think Jake Paul is going to win a decision, and I just hope nothing bad happens to Mike because he's an old dog and heart attacks are real. So hopefully he's training hard enough where he can make it through the fight.
Michael Jai White expressed doubts about Jake Paul's readiness to face Mike Tyson, suggesting that Tyson might be too much for him. He noted that Jake isn't significantly bigger and that Tyson has always fought larger opponents. White raised concerns about how Paul would handle a body shot from Tyson, implying that he may not be prepared for that level of impact.
I would think that, I would think that he probably would be a little much for Jake Paul because, Jake is not that much bigger. Tyson was always used to much bigger guys. And when I just think about what's Jake Paul going to do if Tyson hits him in the body? I just don't think he's ready for that.
Gene Kilroy, one of the final surviving members of Muhammad Ali's inner circle, played a crucial role in shaping Ali's career and helping him attain legendary status as an international icon. Kilroy, who frequently referred to Ali as his dearest friend, now recognizes a similar fighting spirit in Tyson. In the 7th episode of Behind the Mic, Kilroy shared his admiration for Tyson's remarkable preparation.
This is the strongest I've ever seen you.
Yeah?
Yeah, the strongest I've ever, and I know you since you're 13. I think this impressed the shit out of me. Nothing impresses me. I'm gonna tell you the truth, I don't lie. I was worried about him traveling here, traveling there, he's not getting, I can sleep now at night. This is great.
Joe Rogan remarked that Mike Tyson doesn't resemble a typical 57-year-old when watching videos of him hitting the pads. He believes Tyson still possesses the power to knock anyone out cold.
He's doing all kinds of things. He's not a regular 57-year-old guy. And then you see him hit the pads, and you go, Jesus Christ, man. This is a terrifying human being. He's still hitting the bag, hitting the pads. He still has the ability to deliver those punches. And if any one of those hits anybody, it's not like his punches are, 30% of what they used to be. They're like 80 to 90% of what they used to be.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that range. It's probably a little slower than he used to be. He used to be insanely fast. There's a video of Tyson hitting the bag as a 19-year-old, and he's throwing these combinations like, and he's 210 pounds, 215 pounds.
Rogan highlighted how unnerving Mike Tyson was during his prime, asserting that Jake Paul wouldn't stand a chance against a peak Tyson. He emphasized that Tyson's ferocity and skill make him a formidable opponent, showcasing the stark difference between then and now. There's not a chance in hell that Jake Paul would survive against the Mike Tyson that beat Marvis Frazier. It was an execution. It was Tyson in his prime where he was terrifying. He was so fast and he would do angles. He was bobbing and weaving, you couldn't hit him, and he was just coming at you. Former mixed martial artist, referee, and bare-knuckle boxer Chris Laban stated that Jake Paul is not comparable to Mike Tyson in skill. However, he emphasized that age is a crucial factor, asserting that Paul's youth and greater punching power will ultimately provide him an advantage over Tyson.
This motherfucker right now that everybody's gunning for, what's his name? Jake Paul.
How much money are we talking about?
Yeah, so let's just end it with that as we wrap this up. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. Who's going to win that?
No, I don't want to say anything, but listen, because obviously we all love Mike Tyson. He's old though, man. Jake can hit. Jake can hit. I think that fight can play out a couple different ways, but I think the longer it goes, I think Jake might be able to catch him. We'll see.
Wow.
Yeah, because I heard Jake got really good cardio, and
I mean, he's not a terrible boxer. I've watched all his fights. He's not a great boxer. He's nowhere near where Mike Tyson was. If it was a 16-year-old Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul now, I would put every penny on that Mike Tyson. But
of course.
But age is a motherfucker, dude.
UFC star Colby Covington expressed strong opposition to the upcoming fight, raising concerns about Mike Tyson's health due to the considerable age difference. He argued that participating in the bout could damage Tyson's legacy, which has been established through years of remarkable accomplishments. Covington also criticized Jake Paul and his brother Logan Paul, alleging they might be using steroids, suggesting that such enhancements could provide an unfair advantage in the ring.
I think, Mike still looks like a superhuman for 58, but he's still 58 years old, and he shouldn't be fighting anymore. I don't think it's safe. I think it's dangerous. At that age, your heart might explode. He gets hit in the head, he might have a brain bleed. I mean, the guy, that's what I hope for. I hope that Mike Tyson makes it through injury-free and doesn't get hurt. But I don't like the fight. Jake's in his mid-20s. He's doing every chemical known to man. He's literally a lab project. They're just juicing him up, him and his brother. Yeah. Everybody knows that. The machine's behind him, juicing him up, putting every chemical known to man. So I think it's going to end bad. I think, Jake's going to probably knock him out within the first 2 minutes. And if he doesn't, then it'll be because he's carrying him and he's trying to make the freak show look like it's a competitive fight. But I hate the fight. I think it takes away from Mike Tyson's legacy when a guy like this comes in and beats him.
Travis Kelsey expressed his support for Jake Paul, citing his youth, but found it strange to say so. He leaned toward Jake for the win, but was unsure about a knockout, questioning if knockouts were permitted. Kelsey also noted he had never seen Mike Tyson get knocked out.
Cleveland kid, even though Mike is, golly, I feel silly saying that, but I'll take Jake with the youth.
Knockout?
I don't know about a knockout. Are they allowed to knock each other out?
Yes, they are.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
Real fight.
I don't know about a knockout, man. I've never seen Mike get knocked out.
Roy Jones Jr. mentioned that if Tyson isn't in shape, Jake Paul, who weighs 230 pounds, could use his size to push Tyson back and avoid big shots early on. He emphasized that the fight's outcome depends on Tyson's preparation. Jones noted that if Tyson trains seriously, as he did for their match, he should be able to defeat Jake, given that Tyson remains a tough target and a strong puncher when fit. However, if Tyson underestimates Jake, he might be in for a surprise.
All depends on what happens. If they fight a real fight and Mike is in shape, like he got in shape for me, it's going to be very problematic for Jake Paul. If he's not in shape and Jake's 230 and Jake know how to push him back and not get caught with those big shots early, Jake can win the fight. So it all depends on what's happening. I don't really know what's happening. I've seen small clips of Mike, but I don't know if Mike's sparring. I don't know what Mike is really doing. But if Mike takes it serious like he took with me, then he going to take, I don't see Jake beating him because he's very hard to hit still when he's in shape, and he's still a very hard puncher when he's in shape. Now, is he gonna take it that serious, or is he gonna be like Fury took Ngannou and thought Ngannou wouldn't have a chance with him, and Ngannou shocked him? So you never know which one will show up. If he comes in underestimating Jake, he will be in for a rude awakening. But if he comes in and takes Jake serious, then he'll take Jake out.
Bob Arum firmly stated that he sees no chance for 58-year-old Mike Tyson to defeat a much younger fighter like Jake Paul. He emphasized that the significant age difference and physical factors heavily favor Paul. Arum argued that Tyson's age and decline in athletic ability make it highly unlikely for him to win against a younger, active competitor, highlighting the challenges that age presents in boxing, especially when facing someone in their prime.
Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, what do you think of that fight? You're Brooklyn, I'm Brooklyn. Mike, at 58 years old, can he beat Jake Paul 30 years younger his age? The answer is no.
Joseph Parker also believes that Tyson is too old to fight now. While he acknowledges the saying that power lasts, he questions how much power remains at 58 years old. He noted that Mike Tyson has trained hard and is in good shape, but added that it will be difficult to watch the fight.
Listen, I'm all for boxing and all for big fights, but Mike Tyson is a legend, and no matter how great he was in the past with the ferocious style that he had and punches that he thrown and knocking everyone out, 58 years old is old for a fighter. And Jake Paul has the youth on the side, and with each fight he is getting better and better. So it's just, I think it's a hard fight to watch. It will be a hard fight to watch because you just don't want to see Mike. If Mike comes out and knocks him out, then we're going to be like, listen, he's, so the power, I think, is the last thing to go. But at 58 years old, how much power is left? And, we do see short clips, but you're right, we're not sure what happens before and after those clips.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
Promoter Ben Shalom thinks that Mike Tyson is taking a huge risk for stepping in the ring with Jake Paul as he is too old to fight now. He said, "I'm all for entertainment, but where it stops for me is when it makes a mockery of the sport. When you think about the dedication that fighters put into their professional craft, you don't want that to then be taken the out of. Having a 58-year-old in a professional boxing fight is clearly not professional, and that's where the line has to be drawn for these fights." He further added, "It's okay for entertainment, but for me, it's a major step too far, making it pro. It is a circus act. You couldn't get anything more ridiculous when they try to take each other's heads off. There are then a lot of medical risks for an older fighter." Tyson. Shannon Briggs emphasized the importance of speed in boxing, noting that a fighter like Tyson can be a significant threat by landing punches first. He referred to the fear factor of facing such a unique and adaptable opponent, highlighting Tyson's ability to switch stances and execute difficult-to-counter moves. Briggs concluded that ultimately, winning would depend on speed.
There's got to be one thing that just really separates him from the pack as boxers, not from fans.
I mean, just speed.
Yeah.
For us. If somebody's so fast that when you go to punch and they beat you to the punch, or it's dangerous. And he was just ferocious. I think a lot of times too, the fear factor of going into a fight with a guy like that, nobody has seen a guy like that to that point. He not really fighting left-handed. He going both ways. You know what I'm saying? He was squaring up. He was doing things that you really it's hard to train for. So he was just so dangerous.
That's why I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna beat you with speed.
Yeah.
Sergio Mora criticized Jake Paul for fighting Mike Tyson, who hasn't competed in over 20 years and lost his last 2 fights by knockout. He argued that at 57 or 58 years old, it seems unfair for Tyson to be in the ring with a much younger opponent. Mora pointed out that while Tyson may look impressive in short social media clips, anyone can appear strong for a brief moment. He believes this fight won't be beneficial for Tyson's legacy.
Mike Tyson, 58. What is that good for boxing? Fighting a Jake Paul who's obviously in late 20s.
Look, man, I've always been a critic of Jake Paul and having him fight real fighters and boxers. But fighting a fighter that hasn't been fighting over 20 years, of Mike Tyson, he got beat 20 years ago. And
he lost the last 2 fights, got knocked out.
Yeah, he got knocked out the last 2 fights. So at 57, 58 years old, come on, man, you're fighting a senior citizen, and it's not fair. I mean, he can look like a beast, Mike Tyson, for like the 10-second clips that he posts on social media. Anyone could do. I could look like a killer right now on the pads for 10 seconds. But as soon as you turn that camera off, I'm gonna be huffing and puffing and sore. Mike Tyson's it's not gonna be a good look for his legacy.
Amir Khan believes that Iron Mike will secure an early knockout victory. He stated, "The fight between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, wow. No one would have ever expected a fight like that fight to be made. Mike Tyson is a legend of the game and not someone who you want to mess about with, even though he's older now and has been retired for a long time. He's obviously done a few exhibitions. I just feel that he can really hurt Jake Paul. I just can't believe what Jake Paul's thinking. He's fighting a heavyweight great, and I think he can get hurt badly." David Benavidez praised Jake Paul for his dedication to boxing, stating he knows what it takes to face Mike Tyson. However, he highlighted that Tyson is always a threat, noting that many don't have a plan until they get punched in the face.
You recently stepped in the ring with Jake Paul. You guys seem to be buddy-buddy, man. What do you think it's going to take for that guy to beat a Mike Tyson?
I think Jake Paul, shout out to Jake Paul, he's a great guy. He's very dedicated to the sport, so I think he knows what it takes to be Mike Tyson. But Mike Tyson's always Mike Tyson. Like you said, people don't have a plan until they get punched in the face. So when Mike Tyson does that, I don't know.
So what are your thoughts on this? Share your thoughts in the comments section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.